Everyone looks at this painting and sees a tragedy of war, but nobody sees the true terror hiding in the composition. Look at the central figure. He is dressed in white and yellow, glowing like a saint. But if you look closer, his hands tell a story that history books ignored. They are not raised in a plea for mercy. They are marked with the stigmata, the wounds of Christ, intentionally placed by Goya to signal that this is not just an execution, it is a sacrifice. Notice the faceless executioners in the background. They are not individuals. They are a single monolithic machine, a faceless wall of steel and cold indifference. This is the first secret, the dehumanization of the killers who possess no eyes, no expression, and no soul. Now, shift your focus to the blood-soaked ground at the feet of the kneeling man. It is not just red paint. It is a map of the coming industrial slaughter that would define the next century. Most people miss the faint, ghostly outline of a cross, barely visible in the dark background, looming over the soldiers like a silent judge that has turned its back on humanity. The horror is not in the violence itself, but in the calculated repetition of the firing squad. They are identical, their rifles forming a perfectly geometric grid of death. Look at the man in the corner, clutching his head in horror. He is the mirror of the viewer, the only one who truly understands the gravity of what is happening. This is the moment where light is extinguished forever. And the most chilling detail of all is the lantern on the ground. It is the only source of light, yet it illuminates nothing but the path to the grave. Consider the lantern again, but this time, look at the shadow it casts. Goya was a master of optical illusion. If you trace the light, you realize it is impossible. It does not illuminate the executioners, it isolates them. It creates a stage for a theater of cruelty. This is the second secret. The light is a weapon. It forces us to witness the end of an era. Look at the monk in the crowd, huddled in the darkness to the left. He is not praying for salvation. He is looking away, his posture heavy with the realization that God has abandoned this field. He represents the silence of the church, the total collapse of faith in the face of modern power. Look at the bodies already piled on the ground. They are not merely corpses. They are arranged to form an inverted triangle, a subtle nod to the instability of the monarchy and the crumbling foundations of the old world. Notice how the man in white is positioned directly in front of the rifle barrels. It is a perfect, sickening alignment. He is the bullseye of history. Goya is telling us that when the light of the Enlightenment hits the wall of absolute power, it does not reveal truth. It reveals only the butcher. The ground is dark, yet the victims are bright, creating a contrast that burns into the retina. This is the third secret, the visual trap. You are being forced to choose between the light that kills and the darkness that hides the truth. Every stroke of paint serves a singular, violent purpose. There is no escape for the victim, and there is no escape for you. The final layer of this nightmare lies in the color of the sky. It is not night, and it is not day. It is a suffocating, unnatural void, a color that Goya chose to strip away any hope of a horizon. This brings us to the ultimate secret of this masterpiece. Look closely at the hands of the victims waiting their turn in the queue. They are not shaking. They are clenched in a defiance that transcends physical pain. Goya was painting more than an execution. He was documenting the birth of a new, relentless defiance. The silence in the painting is deafening, because it captures the exact second before the trigger is pulled. A permanent state of tension that will never resolve. The repetition of the soldier's legs creates a rhythm, a mechanical march that signals the end of individual human value. You are witnessing the precise moment when humanity becomes a resource for slaughter. The contrast between the soft, organic curves of the victims and the sharp, rigid angles of the rifles is where the tragedy truly lives. It is a confrontation between the soul and the machine. Look at the brushwork on the blood. It is thick, textured, almost alive, pulsing with the heat of life that is rapidly fading into the cold earth. You see now why you cannot look away. It is not because of the cruelty, but because Goya trapped you in the same frame as the victim. You are the silent witness, the invisible observer who stands exactly where the artist stood, condemned to watch the light go out forever.